Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I am your host, Saucy McFoodlefist, and today we're continuing the life and suffering of Sir Brante. We're currently 17 years old. We're becoming a priest. We did all that work. Okay, the feud between... It doesn't matter what we did in the last episode, just go watch it. The feud between Patriarch Luke and the seminary teachers makes you think, why do these old men have to argue over the interpretation of words written by a mortal man for mortal men? The most important thing here is the will of the gods, but it is obscured behind a battle over dogma. Once your lessons are done for the day, you head to the temple. Inside, you raise your head to look at the statues of the twins. The elder with the lash, the younger with the sword. They look at you, almost as if they are curious to see what you will do. You clasp your hands and whisper a prayer. It is part prayer, part question. What is their will? What did the twins truly intend to tell the people? How are we supposed to live? Your whispered words scatter among the tall pillars and stretch across the temple like a web waiting to catch an answer. Even the flickering candlelight seems to dance to the rhythm of your prayer. And then you sense an unfamiliar feeling of comforting warmth. It is pulsing on your chest, from the place where a priest's encircled cross would be. You did not notice when your prayer changes. It is no longer a question. It is now an expression of joy, a hymn to the twins, to their will and law and love, and the lots and the wisdom they have brought into this world. The prayer ends, but the warmth in your chest remains. With the warmth comes understanding. Everything you are doing here is for a reason, and it is right. The twins are within you. They are guiding you, and when you speak in the temple one day, you will speak the will of the twins. You bring forth their gift to all existence. Doubt plagues you no longer. Man, we got a lot of willpower. We got 30 willpower. Prepared for anything. Hell yeah. $11:36. We're 18 years old. We're legal, baby. Let's do this. Year 1136 winter, the trial of the 50. You have lived another year in the capital. Eterna has been shaken by what is now known as the trial of the 50. 50 people stand trial at once, all prominent members of several political circles. They are accused of treason and conspiracy against the crown. The accused spoke in favor of reducing the power of nobles and granting more rights to the common estate. There is no mention of rebellion, yet the words alone were enough to indict them. Every session of the trial is open to the public. It is a show of power made to discourage people from forming such circles ever again. You attend one of these sessions. The 50 face their verdict: forced labor in the mines of Magra and Illyria for irregular members, and true death for their leaders, 6 men and 1 woman. Their public execution takes place in the central square of Eterna. Yet remember the woman. Her name was Annie Siren. She made a speech before her execution. A young woman, not too tall, her face almost plain, with long bangs over her eyes. She looks calm even at this moment. You cannot believe she is about to leave this world forever. Annie Siren takes a look around before she speaks. Her voice is quiet, but you are close enough to hear every single word. She says she is happy to give her lives fighting for the rights of the people. Her cause will never die, Annie claims. Others will continue their work in hiding, for the cause is right and just. She is dragged away to the others. They put a sack over her head and tighten the noose around her neck. A hand yanks the lever and seven dangle in the air. Their feet tremble at first, then grow still. The gasps and cries of the discontent in the crowd. There are gasps and cries of the discontent in the crowd. Okay, so right now we're at a struggle for power, power -1. Order +1. We're almost to peace, which is good. I don't know if that's good or not, to be honest with you, but the Black Book. Your studies at the seminary continue. You assist with the preparations for church holidays and study accounts of the twins' lives and sacred scriptures. The seminary sends some of its students on a pilgrimage to the holy sites of the empire to follow in the footsteps of one of the twins. A large group of these pilgrims return to the seminary several weeks after your studies begin. Among the students in the group is a young woman, and she looks familiar. She holds her head high as her brown eyes, filled with wisdom and strength, study you attentively. She approaches you first. It is Jean. You met in the past by the silver tree in Anazat. Jean was but an acolyte at the temple by the tree at the time. Now she's an interna like you, almost ready to complete her studies. Jean, I remember you. I'm glad you're here. So you found your way to the priestly lot after all. It's nice to see a familiar face from your former life. You start spending more time with Jean, praying and reading sacred scriptures together. Most of the time you discuss theology, but the more you learn about each other, the more you start discussing your lives before the seminary. You tell her how Mother prepared you to serve the twins ever since you were a child, from daily prayers to following your lot and everything. Jean, as for me, I don't know who my parents are. I grew up in the orphanage by the temple. Studying at the seminary has been my goal since as long as I can remember. The priests were kind to me, and now it is my sacred duty to serve the twins. With the first term exams now behind you, you are allowed to visit the antiquarium, a special storage chamber for sacred relics and artifacts that harken back to the history of the faith. You invite Jean to go there with you. Inside the antiquarium is quiet. The items you see beyond the glass panes on the shelves are nothing short of amazing. One thick, ragged tome is an original work, inked by Asatius. You see old images of the twins' likeness faded with time. You behold the lash used in the very sacraments for the lowborn lot. The relics made of silver, the twins' blessed metal, are kept in a separate chamber. You take time poring over these handcrafted sacred symbols. The shelves on the opposite wall are covered with silver collars, large and small. Jean, they're so elegant. The things we make are much simpler nowadays, always cast from silver, not forged by hand. Look, those old collars are even stamped into the silver. Another wall is covered with the thin silver slabs, prayers to the twins etched into metal. After taking the priest's sacrament, any priest may use a silver slab to call the gods' power down upon their foes and work wonders even outside the temple grounds. Jean, do you think these might be copies? Silver slabs disappear when they're used, don't they? Just imagine the temptation, working wonders anywhere just like that. There is one more chamber at the farthest end of the aquarium, with only one relic within. The only room here that is guarded. Your voices trail off when Jean and you feel the eyes of the chamber guard upon you. He bears a scroll with a silver seal on his cassock, an inquisitor. But what the inquisitor is guarding is a black book, its pages blackened seemingly by fire. The book lies inside a spacious cage forged of time-faded silver. You're not allowed to approach it, the inquisitor says. What is it, you ask? The inquisitor sighs and glances at the silver cage with worry and scorn. This is the most dangerous and vile of all the relics in the land, he says. It is a monument to the Dark Ages, when Archaeans used to fight one another for power, a time when one of the great Archaean dynasties defied the twins' chosen tempests. The Archaean who owned this book was Charmolanides. Driven by helpless rage, he scorched the land of Magra and ravaged the imperial army with a terrible curse, but the twins' power stripped him of his dark sorcery, and the Holy Order brought him down. The book within this cage contains his sinister spells. What the Inquisitor says seems unbelievable. The book you have read say that all the Meladian's relics were destroyed. He explains, however. Apparently, the book was impossible to immolate. Even with the god's divine aid, the countless raging pyres it's subjected to could only be the broken pages with ash, but not destroy them. The dark magic remains within the book, preserving the blasphemous sorcery. But the book alone was not enough. The rebellious Duke turned his very land into a weapon by destroying it. The Holy Order, the Swords of the Twins, surrounded by Melanidas' forces along with the Imperial Army, their victories were numerous, for true faith guided them towards the city of Anazat. With no other way to prolong the war and nourish his magical powers, the rebellious Duke squeezed all life from the land of Magra and transformed it into dark sorcery. And so the province of Magra, ruled by Melanidas, became an infertile desert during the war. The people of Melanidas began dying from sickness and famine. Many fled to the neighboring lands. Yet this evil act did little to stop the twins' true believers. By prayer of the priests and the gods away their dark magic of Melanidas was dispelled the accursed sorcery he had wrought. The Holy Order dealt swiftly with the remnants of Melanidas' army, while the Inquisition captured all the mages and witches hiding in Anazat. Melanidas himself was executed as an outbreaker possessed by heresy, who had destroyed the fertile lands of Magra and starved thousands of his subjects to death. Be wary of magic, for magic is an ungodly power that distorts and plagues all it touches, and so must be eradicated, the Inquisitor concludes. These words seem to affect Jean deeply. She turns pale and walks out of the room containing the encaged book. You thank the priest for the story and follow her. You find the poor girl sitting on a bench in the park by the temple, her face hidden in her arms. You lightly tap on her shoulder and ask what is troubling her. Jean: when I came to Eterna, I wasn't alone, you know. I had a friend, almost a sister. Her name was Alice. I had one goal here, to serve the twins, but she wanted to be an actress. I argued against it, told her that acting was in defiance of her lot, but Alice wouldn't listen. She's performing in taverns now and in markets on holidays. I went to one of her performances just the other day, in fact, and I saw her eyes glowing yellow. Every time her eyes flashed, the people would applaud her, but she's defying the lot that she's using magic. Alice is practicing the dark arts, confounding people's minds with sorcery. I was far enough away, her spell didn't reach me. I want to, but I can't tell the Inquisition about her. Alice is my only real friend in this world, and she's a witch. I don't know what to do. Jean's shoulders tremble with anxiety. Her brown eyes are red with tears as she looks at you, hoping for guidance that will save her from error. What do you tell Jean? Tell no one about Alice. The twins are law, and yet the twins are love as well. It would be the best to give Jean's friend a chance to reconcile with the twins on her own. Inform the Inquisition. Those who wield magic are dangerous. They must be kept away from the people. Guide your friend on the right path. You convince Jean to give counsel to her friend and guide her to the right path. Jean is not a priestess yet, but nevertheless, it is her sacred duty. Well, since that's an unlockable option for us, I'm going to tell her to guide her friend to the right path. Put your hand on Jean's. You put your hand in Jean's just as you did the day in Anazat under the silver tree. She's a little startled. She looks at your hand and then into your eyes. She cannot take away her friend's magic, you say, and if she tells the Inquisition she will lose someone she loves. Perhaps it would be best to speak with her and guide her to the true path like a priestess would, and hope the girl can see the error of her ways and make the right decision. Jean is not wearing the cassock yet, but for the sake of her friend's life and soul, she must act like a priestess. Jean wipes away her tears as she looks at you, first with distrust, then with a hint of a smile. But don't you think I'd be defying my lot by doing this? You shake your head. The two of you no longer have to work or suffer like commoners, you say. You already live under the lot of the clergy here at the seminary. Guiding souls to the true path is already your duty. She withdraws her hand from yours carefully, then wipes away the tears and fixes her hair. You're right. I'm sorry for being so weak. I shall act as befits a true priestess. You sit on the bench under the tree with her for quite some time, discussing the will of the twins. By changing the world through the silver tree of Anazot, magic will soon be gone from this world. And when the mages are no more, the twins' sacred wonders of order and purity are all that will remain. Jean is smiling now. Her tears have dried. The discussion brings you peace, just like the one beneath the silver tree. Jean does not mention her friend again. Several days later, you ask about Alice. I managed to guide her back to her lot. She's back in Anazot now. She's going to work and suffer as her lot demands. I'm happy for her, but it's a shame our friendship seems to have come to an end. Wavering. Jean remains strong and steadfast on the outside, but belief in the dogma of the old faith is growing weak. As you think about this, you realize something. You also guided Jean herself towards the lot on the bench that fateful day. Is she aware of this? Manipulation +1. Yeah, we're canny, baby. An event has happened. Alice's rescue. Alice's death is prevented. You save the enigmatic singer known as the Golden Voice from an untimely death. Alright. Year 1136, summer, the feast of the air. The capital is preparing for a great celebration. The coming of Jerian Tempest, heir to the throne. Ribbons and flags flutter in the wind. The streets are scrubbed clean, and the scent of flowers fills the air. You too, yet set some time aside for the celebration. It's not often that you can see the ruling family of the Empire firsthand. The celebration day comes, and Eterna is abuzz. A festive procession starts on the streets. Students from the college and cadets from the military academy march to the front, lined up in columns, then the other citizens follow suit. You join the parade around the tail of the procession. Before long, it reaches the square in front of the Emperor's palace. The ruling dynasty of the Tempest observes the parades from the palace balcony. They are joined by the Empire's highest dignitaries and province's overseers. For the first time in your life, you see the Emperor Uther II with your own eyes, there high up above. The columns of the college students and academy cadets come to a halt at the balcony and salute the emperor with their mottos. The emperor raises his hand in gesture of benevolent greeting. Then his voice echoes across the square. You can hear him easily, even from so far away. Uther Tempest II. I accept your gratitude, my loyal subjects. Take pride as you wield your knowledge and valor in service of the Empire. All who are worthy will be ennobled by the mantle by my grace. The nobles-to-be cheer the Emperor's words, but then the Archduke Monrogue steps onto the balcony. Their jubilation gives way to murmurs of discontent. Everyone here remembers all too well the rule of Mania tried to shut down the college by force. Still, the Archduke is the de facto of the Archean gentry. He is a force to be reckoned with, even for the Emperor. Egregious Monrogue. Hail your Emperor, common folk, but be obedient and grateful for the good graces you do not deserve by birth. But then everyone grows silent. A young slender Archean with a shy smile comes forth. There are whispers in the crowd that Princes Jerian, heir to the throne, student of Cornelius, promise and hope of the common estate. To the left of the Jerian is his younger brother Flavius. Flavius? He is baffled at the sight of the parade below, too young to process what he is seeing. Jerian, may the twins be kind to you, my future subjects. I promise to repay you in kind and help you prosper in your loyal service to the Empire." Exalted by these words, the nobles to be roar, "All hail Prince Jarian!" Another figure steps into the view next to the heir. He is an Archnean, elegantly dressed, and his mantle adheres the Tempest colors. He raises his arms, about to make a speech. Gaius Tempest. "Long live Prince Jarian! Students of the college, cadets of the academy, time and again you have proven yourselves to the Empire by word and deed. Today is the great day of celebration, and in honor of Prince Jarian, you must ask for the Emperor to guarantee forever the right to be distinguished common folk, to be ennobled by the mantle. So ask now." The cadets and students freeze in hesitation. They exchange glances, unsure whether to follow the words of the Emperor's own brother. On the balcony high above, Prince Jarian also remains still, listening to every reaction in the crowd. Archduke Monroe briskly steps up into view once more. He takes several seconds to observe the crowd before he speaks. Agarius Monroe, imperial subjects. What the Emperor's brother wishes to say is that you must always remember that you owe your status to the Tempest dynasty. The Emperor accepts your gratitude and sends you off with a blessing. You may leave now. Commotion and murmurs spread throughout the crowd as the nobles to be refused to follow Archduke Monroe's order. There are shouts heard here and there. "The law! We ask for the law!" The academy officers and teachers of the college urge them to fall in line and resume the parade, but tension is rising. The crowd slowly grows enraged and unruly. An imperial cavalry regiment emerges from the palace. They slowly start advancing the crowd, hands on their swords, pushing people out of the square. The commoners are now running left and right. You two have to move away. This quickly quells the commotion in the square, and the cavalry withdraws. Emperor Uther II appears on the balcony again. Archduke Monroe stands by his side. The square falls silent at the sight of the sovereign. Uther: "My subjects, I can see how overjoyed you are for Prince Jarian, but your show of reverence and gratitude was clear enough. Now obey my will, continue the parade, and sing the praises of the Tempest dynasty that has given you so much." The square obediently lines up in columns once again. The bout of defiance is past now, and they resume festive parades throughout the streets. Glory to Emperor Uther, glory to Prince Jarian. Overseer and power. Interesting. Year 1136, the summer. Letters from home. There are days when you receive letters from home. Father's writing is very reserved. He mostly discusses events and work in Magra and writes very little about the family. Robert: "It makes me proud that I have managed to teach Stefan how to handle our affairs at home. Your older brother behaves impeccably at the society balls and receptions that we host. He has already made several crucial acquaintances." But Gloria has a different opinion on Stefan. She thinks your older brother is taking more and more after grandfather. Gloria: "Stefan is a lot like grandfather. It's in his manners, his posture, his voice. He dresses just like him. He used to be aloof around me, and we barely talked in the past, but now he always blames me and tears me apart. I can't take it anymore. He walks all over me all the time and treats me like a housemaid." Mother writes to you. From her letters, you learn Nathan just barely managed to graduate from school. Lydia: "It makes me sad to admit Nathan has none of the talents you have. The other day he told me he won't even study in the capital. He says he won't be able to pass the exams. I find solace only in the nights Nathan and I spend reading the scriptures and our watch to the church by the silver tree. He accompanies me every time." Your sister and younger brother write about Mother too. They say the same thing about her health. She now spends more time locked away in her chambers to brood. Gloria does her best to accompany Mother when she leaves home. and Nathan's letters mention her echoing in the halls in the middle of the night. There is one more thing Nathan mentions in his letters. Stefan and Gloria have been fighting very often these days. Nathan: Stefan always tries to get under Gloria's skin, and she answers him in kind. Then Stefan calls her a lowly commoner to make her shut up. You always tremble in excitement each time you see a new letter in the seal of your home province. Your fate is bound tightly to your families, no matter the distance between you. Okay, we're -1 with Stefan, +2 with Gloria, total -1. -1 with Nathan. The months fly. Matters of faith. The months fly by. Every day at the seminary is filled with study and work. You are being trained to live your new lot. There are no rests from the service to the twins. You are well acquainted with your instructors now, and each passing day you come closer to being their equal. Every month you and your class learn more about the sacred scriptures and the life and routine of the church, and how to guide others to live by their lots. You learn about the founding of the church and the 3 councils at which the twins' first disciples established the dogmas of the faith. When the first council met, they pronounced that the twins' faith would be the only faith throughout the empire for all eternity, and their Tempest dynasty would rule the land by their will, for they were chosen by the gods. The first council also condemned all magic within the empire, other than the wonders sent down by the twins themselves. The Inquisition was created to enforce the order established by the twins, and cleanse all heresy and sorcery from their hearts, minds, and bodies. Mages and witches were offered 2 choices. They could either accept the collar and reject their powers, or perish in the ritual of purifying flame. When the second council met, the Holy Order was founded. It became the mighty sword wielded by the church against its enemies. Nobles were sought to serve the twins. With their arms formed the ranks of this order. When the third council met, the 2 books of Prophet Asatius and the accounts of the twins' own lives were deemed the sacred scriptures of the faith. It was then pronounced there that no more councils would ever be convened, so that the foundations of the faith could never be warped. The main dogmas of the faith are the same for everyone. However, the seminary students prepare for their lot that lies ahead of them in different ways. Some of them study the scriptures, spending hours at the temple every day, attending every sermon, and mastering the art of preaching. Jean often appears among their ranks. These preachers ardently follow the age-old traditions and dogmas, doing everything just as it was done hundreds of years ago. Others, you call them supplicants, rarely attend sermons, but spend plenty of time in prayer rooms and temples and by the altars. You know, these supplicants are seeking the twins themselves and looking for them for signs and revelations they experience. There are still others who have not seen during sermons or in prayer rooms. You only see them during lessons, and when the lesson is over, they cross the gate of the seminary and disappear into the city, often walking you up when they return in the small hours of the night. The secret society, you call these students, who are clearly united by a shared mystery. There are also a handful of them. When they meet, they sit at the table and speak in hushed whispers, falling silent if anyone tries to approach them. You have not joined any of these groups yourself, for now you spend your days and nights in study. Today is yet another ordinary day at the seminary. You sit in the common room reading a book when Jean approaches you. Jean: why are you always alone with your books? You should learn from your elders and attend sermons if you hope to walk the path of a priest. We can go to the next sermon together if you wish. You promise to consider her offer. As priests, you will be bound by the lot to the will of the twins, not the will of your instructors. Still, the will of the twins is a mystery, and the revelations are ever involute. Come to think of it, learning from the senior priests and studying their habits might be the best way to understand your lot. Lost in thought, you look at the enigmatic handful of students sitting in the faraway corner of the hall. What mystery are they hiding? What path have they chosen to walk? You need to decide what to do next. One way or another, Gene is right. Your books will never do your preaching for you. Okay, join the preachers. You begin attending sermons and learning how to preach. Search for the divine within yourself. You begin praying more often, calling out the twins, striving to learn more about their wisdom, partaking of their will, love, and law, or infiltrate the secret society. You grow closer to the enigmatic group of seminary students, hoping to learn their secrets. Ooh, it's a tough decision. I mean, I want to search for the divine within myself, or join the preachers. That might be a good option, but like I kind of want to infiltrate the secret society. Let's do it. Sermons and prayers are something you already know. Right now, you would rather learn something else, something new. For several days in a row, you attempt to take a seat near the enigmatic seminary students. They eye you with suspicion and avoid you every time. When you realize that this approach is not working, you try to integrate yourself with the members who seem most eager to talk. You inquire about their secret meetings and promise to keep what he tells you a secret. He tells you nothing, but he does say that he will consult with the other members of the society, quote unquote. Several days later, one of the enigmatic students nonchalantly invites you to take a walk with him and the others. You nod. You are strongly warned that everything that happens there must remain a secret. You swear not to tell a soul. You are going to a sermon. One of the students whispers in your ear as you walk to the streets of Eterna, but he adds with a crafty smile, "You have never heard a sermon like this before. It will turn your vision of the twins upside down. In the end, curiosity gets the better of your doubts." The students lead you to the basement of the lavishly decorated house. There are at least 50 more people in the basement hall, many of them dressed in the latest fashion. You can even see college students among the crowd. They are all waiting for someone. Is it gonna be Sophia? No. Finally, a stout man with a bald spot walks up to the pulpit. He's wearing a cassock, and you notice he is not wearing the twins' cross. He seems good-natured enough. His plain face is lit up by a serene smile. Father Mark. "Greetings, brethren. It warms my heart to see new faces here. My name is Father Mark, and I say to you, reject the twins, cast them aside." Oh! What? Reject the twins? The twins! Oh, man. And twins! Oh, boy. For a moment, there is silence. You look at Brother Mark in terror, then at the seminary students who brought you here, and back at him again. The other students are staring at the false priest with what can only be described as adoration. Father Mark, the truth is that there is no difference between eternal bliss and eternal suffering. We will be deprived of our will in the hereafter, deprived of our very selves, immersed within the will of the twins. There will be no we in the hereafter. Our existence, our freedom exists only in the here and now. We exist only so long as we live in this world. If we resign ourselves to the lots, if we reign our lives to the will of the twins, we willingly deprive ourselves of our one chance to live, even in the short time we are allotted. We can only be our true selves and live our lives to the fullest if we reject the gods and cast away the burden of the lots. Oh man, oh man. Life is short, and so we must strive to do everything before it ends. There will be no desire after the gods judge us, nor will there be any way to fulfill in the hereafter, for we will have no will of our own. Our only will exists now, so focus on worldly life, my brethren. Reject the divine law, write your own law here in this world. Father Mark's speech is long, very, very long, and his mellow expression never changes. The man is a heretic, yet everybody admires him so much. After some time, you start thinking there might be a kernel of truth to what he is saying. I mean, I agree. There's definitely... I don't know if I should have joined the secret society. I don't know, man. This Father Mark. Okay, every person lives the lives they are bound by their lot, by tradition, by duty, by honor. Your entire life is predetermined, whether you like it or not, and an opportunity to cast off this burden and seek a different way feels fascinating, even thrilling. Father Mark is a splendid orator. His words are simple and powerful, and none of them will ever fall on deaf ears. You cannot help but feel respect for this man, even if you cannot accept what he is saying. You keep thinking about his outlandish sermon after you return to the seminary. The sermon was like a breath of fresh air. It gives you a glimpse of the very freedom Father Mark was talking about. You broke the rules. You strayed from the choices that you wanted to make. You sought other answers, something unlike the common knowledge truths, and you liked it. Tonight you felt alive. You felt emotions. You were outraged. You were enchanted. You were a part of this world, and the world gave you the strength to keep on living. Diplomacy, +1. Okay, we're almost to promising. Scheming, +1. We're now at 10. Conspirator. Willpower, -5. But we're still prepared for anything, so.